everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather and we're here with another reading vlog. This time we are specifically doing books that I have been avoiding. These are 3 books that I've had on my TBR for a very long time. And so I've decided that today is the day that we finally get these books read. So first things first, I'm going to walk you through the books that I'm going to be going through in this video, and then this will just be a reading vlog to help motivate me to finally actually read these books. So the first book that I have been avoiding, I have had partially read for about 4 years now. It's been a very long time. I got this book for free while I was at college. They were rebuilding the social science the social studies building, and so the teachers had gone and cleaned out their offices and were giving away a bunch of books for free. And so I'd grabbed this book and I started it not too long after I got it, and then I got, let's see, 96 pages in. And then we started moving and it got boxed up in a box that was kind of a, I don't need access to this for a while. And so then I didn't have this book out of a box until we moved here to Idaho in May. So it was boxed up for a very long time with me in the middle of it. And that book is 2-3 Mini Vietnams. This one is on my 25 books to read in 2025 because I want to finish this book this year, so I figured it'd be a great place to start. This is actually a collection of essays, basically, surrounding wars in Southeast Asia. Honestly, I don't remember a ton of what I read, and I kind of went back and forth on if I should go back and start over, but I don't think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm just gonna pick up where I was and just move forward with it. But it's just a whole bunch of different random essays about different things surrounding wars in Vietnam, specifically the one that the US was involved, I think. But a very fascinating non-fiction book. One of my goals this year is to read at least 4 non-fiction books. So again, we're making good progress in my goals by finally getting this one off my shelves and done. So I'm very intrigued by this one. It's probably one that I'll just read a little bit at a time while I'm reading other books. That's kind of how I like to do non-fiction. It's something that I just kind of pick at and go kind of slowly, intentionally through. But I'll be very happy to finally finish this one 4 years after I started it. And then the next book, I honestly don't even know why I'm avoiding this one. It just is one that I keep not gravitating towards, and so I think it's one that I could really like. It is a thriller, and normally mystery thrillers are books that I just love, and I burn through them so fast. They rarely sit on my shelf for very long, so it's kind of crazy that this one has sat on there for so long. And I think part of the reason might be because I bought this one at a thrift store knowing nothing about it, so I haven't been super motivated to read it because I haven't seen anyone talk about it. And that is The Couple Next Door by Shari Lapena, something like that. Basically it sounds like they're at a dinner party when a crime is committed. I don't know if it tells you what crime on the back. I don't know a ton about this at all, so yeah, I don't know, but it'll be really nice to get through a thriller, and I think I might start with this one in addition to this one and do kind of both of these simultaneously. But this is one that I really think I could love, and so I need to stop putting it off and just finally get to it. And then the last book in this video, there are definitely more that I'm putting off, but we're just gonna start with 3 for now, is Children of Dune by Frank Herbert. I've read the first 2 books in the series. The first book was fine. I didn't like love it, but it was good. It's kind of a long, slower book, but I thought it was a very interesting world that he built in it. And then I read the second book, and Dune Messiah is weird. There is a lot of funky stuff that goes on in that book, and I don't know how I felt about it, and so it's kind of put me off of the series as a whole. And that's why I keep putting this one off, because I'm scared that I'm not gonna like it just like Dune Messiah. But it is following different characters because you're following children of characters in the first 2 books. See, I think it's a 9-year gap between the 2 books, so I'm interested to see where we go with this one. I would like to give Dune another try, so I'm gonna read this book. If I also just really don't like this book, then I think I'm gonna be done with the Dune universe. If this one's good, then it might motivate me to read more of the books in the series. So that's our last book in this video. Again, I definitely have other books that I've been avoiding, but this is where we're gonna start for now. So if you want to see another one of these videos at some point, let me know. I definitely have other books that I could do for it. But this is my selection for this video. We're just gonna do this reading vlog style. I'll share you my thoughts. This is all gonna be spoiler free, so let's get into reading some of my books that I've been avoiding. Okay, it's been a couple of days since I filmed the intro to this video, so I thought I'd give you a quick reading update. Sorry that this lighting isn't the best, but I'm filming this in the morning before I go to work, and there's just not a lot of light in the day anymore. So, first one, 2 3-minute Vietnams. I haven't done a ton. I finished one essay that I was like in the middle of, so I was a little bit confused because starting in the middle of like an essay is just not the best, but I think I figured out kind of what was going on. Now I'm back to the start of a new one, so we'll see if things make a little bit more sense now that I'm starting from the beginning of an essay. But that's what's happening with that. Again, I'm just gonna kind of keep working my way through it. I've been reading this one right before bed. This is like a good nighttime wind my brain down one. And then The Couple Next Door, I have made pretty good progress through. I am now on chapter 21, page 200. So I think I've got to be about halfway, if not further than that. This one gets right into it. Within the first like chapter or two, their baby gets kidnapped. Like their 6-month-old infant gets kidnapped from its crib. And it's this whole thing. They bring the detective in, and then you're just following the investigation basically. I don't have a ton of thoughts. It's not like the best thriller I've ever read in my life, but it's fine. I'm definitely getting through it quick. It's kept my interest good enough that I'm flying through it. It's also little tiny pages, so that makes it quick to read. But there's been a couple things that I'm just like, oh, that's a little weird that we needed to throw that in there. I'm sure they will become important later, hopefully. I read a couple Goodreads reviews when I went to mark this as currently reading, and a lot of people seem to not like the main the husband and the main couple, which is funny to me because I don't feel like in mysteries and thrillers I need the characters to be likable, because every character is really a suspect. I feel like as long as I like the detective, then it really doesn't matter about the rest of the characters. They can be as annoying or as crazy as you want because they're all suspects in my mind. And so it doesn't really bug me when a character like has issues. So I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but personally I can deal with a lot more annoying characters in mysteries and thrillers than I can in other genres, because in my mind they're all suspects of some kind of crime anyways, so it makes sense that they're all acting a little funny and not really thinking logically and stuff. So I have gotten to the point in this book where it kind of gave us the solution, I think, and now we're just like following the detective trying to figure out that. So I'm interested to see if there's gonna be another twist that what it gave us as a solution isn't, but I don't know. We'll see. It might just be one of those situations where now we kind of know what's going on and we're just following the detective as he figures it out. But yeah, I'll probably have this done in the next day or two, and then we will move on to Dune. Okay, I don't really think I filmed any clips since I last updated you, but I have since finished The Couple Next Door. I got to a point where I just kind of sat down and decided I was finishing it last night, and so I did. I'm still trying to decide exactly how I feel about this book. It was a page turner for sure. I feel like it had a lot of interesting things that you don't see as often in thriller books. First of all, an infant kidnapping, not something you see a ton. And then it ended on a second crime. And I won't give you more details than that because I don't want to spoil things, but like the very last thing that happens in the book is another crime. And so I don't know, you just don't see a lot of thrillers, and usually you end with the whole, here's the solution. But we did that, and then we still had another crime happen at the end, which I guess is solved. Like, you still have all the loose ends wrapped up and stuff. It's not like it leaves off on some crazy cliffhanger, but I've just never really seen that before in a thriller book, so that was interesting. So again, just a lot of fun stuff that you don't typically see. That being said, I don't think that this is the best written thriller I've ever read in my life. You're not really following from any one perspective, but you're not fully in people's point of views. I don't know, you're kind of jumping around, and it's kind of random how long you're in each person's perspective and how long and who you're getting, because towards the end you start adding a few more people, and then I don't know, you're just jumping around, so you're not spending the whole book with the detective, and so the detective feels kind of almost like a side character, which is interesting. So I don't know, it's not that one where you're following along with the detective exactly, and it does get to a point where you start to know more information than any one character, so I don't know, I feel like I put it together before we got the actual solution. And so I don't know, it was an interesting one. I think I'm giving it like 3 stars. I don't know if I'd strongly recommend it, but it was fine if you want a thriller that is a page turner, but it's not the best one I've ever read. That being said, now that we're done with this book, I am going to start diving into Children of Dune. I'm hoping that this one's good. The last one definitely wasn't like a bad book by any means. It was a good book. So I'm hoping that this one also ends up being good. I am still also going to be working my way through 2-3 mini Vietnams, but again, I'm just gonna kind of slowly work on this one. I need to get going through it faster than I am, for sure. Reading like 2 pages before bed is not gonna get me through this anytime soon, but these are my next 2 books to work on, and then we'll be done with the video. So I will update you when I'm a little bit of a way into Children of Dune, and then we'll go from there. Hey guys, wanted to check in really quickly on this reading vlog. It's been a minute. I don't remember what the last time was that I updated, but I know it's been a while since I cannot remember at all when I last checked in. I think it might have been when I was about to start Dune, Children of Dune. Just a quick update, I'm still slowly working my way through these books. They're definitely taking me a bit to get into. I'm enjoying, or I'm feeling more inclined to read this book than Dune, so that's unfortunate, but I'm getting there. I am currently 50 pages into Children of Dune. I don't know. I'm just not sure where we're going with the storyline still, and for book 3, it feels like there should be more of a plot, but there just really isn't a cohesive plot between the 3 books. Like, you kind of get a whole new line, and we've got a bit of a time jump-ish. I honestly don't remember exactly where we ended with the other one, so I don't know. There's definitely a lot of recurring characters that are from the first 2 books, and then there's a few newer characters too, so I don't know. Again, I'm just not far enough in to really have an opinion on this one yet, but I'm struggling to get into it. 2-3 mini Vietnams. I am slowly working my way through. I just read like a couple pages here and there, and I'm making some progress. I think I'm down to just under 100 pages left to read. It's a very fascinating book. It's interesting now getting back into it. I'm kind of remembering how this book is going, but basically the concept behind the like 2-3 mini Vietnams is it's talking about all of the different ways that the US got involved in Southeast Asia in general. So I read one article that was centered around Cambodia. I'm currently reading one centered around Indonesia. So it's kind of hitting a bunch of different places. Currently, I am reading one that is all about how the universities got involved in some of that. And honestly, the book just overall is kind of it looks at these very minute parts of the way that the US got involved, and it really makes the US look bad. And I don't know, this isn't a part of history that I feel like we really study in school in the US, and there's obviously a reason that we have been avoiding this topic, so it's very interesting to read from all of these different perspectives and different specific storylines that we're looking at. Again, like the one I'm reading right now is very specifically about how the universities were involved in all of it. So it's fascinating. It's not exactly a book you want to sit and binge read, and I'm not mad that I'm going through it slowly, but it does feel like this video is taking me forever to film. So hopefully over this next long weekend I get quite a bit of reading done, but that's where I'm at. I'm still working my way through these 2 books. I'm not insanely loving them, but they're not bad. Quick check-in on this video. I honestly don't remember the last time I talked or what my update was, but I've made a bit of progress. It has been, I believe, a few days since I last talked, but I am on page 164 in 2-3 Mini Vietnam. So I'm at 80 pages left-ish, so I'm making progress. I'm getting close. I am trying to get through this quicker, but some of these are just definitely better than others. There's been a couple that are written more like stories, and then there's some that are written more like news articles, and then some are written almost like academic papers. My battery's flashing, so I'm gonna wrap this up quick, but making progress. And then the bigger update is I am now currently at page 126 of Children of Dune. So I'm making some progress. This one's been very interesting. Okay, my other camera battery died, and I don't have another battery that's charged, so we're just gonna finish this up on the phone. But because of how it works, where some of the characters have like memories embedded in them from previous characters, really hard to explain, but some of these characters are still popping up in the heads of other characters. So there's just people I did not expect to have in this book that are there and are actually quite present, which is kind of weird. So that's been throwing me off a bit. I do feel like it's picked up a little bit more. There is like an assassination plot happening, and just generally I feel like there's more plot going on than the last book had, which I'm enjoying. So things have definitely picked up. I'm getting through it a little bit faster, so I'm really gonna try and read a lot the next couple of days. It's currently Wednesday, and I was really hoping to put this video up Friday, so it might end up going up Saturday by the time I finish these books. So I'm gonna just really try and bust out a lot of reading over the next little bit, but that's my update. Next time I will have a charged battery, but I will probably update you when I finish one of the books. I don't know which one's gonna happen first, but that's probably what the next update will be. Hello everybody, I have finished my 3 books for this video, so I'm here to finally end this video off. But first, to give you some thoughts on the last 2 books that I read. I first finished Children of Dune. I struggled with this book a bit, and I think I can officially say that I'm done with the Dune world. I just don't know that these are the books for me. I feel like they get so close to where you're like getting into a plot and you're like, okay, things are finally starting to pick up and I understand what's going on, and then it just goes off in this crazy philosophy, weird, twisty craziness that just completely loses me every time. And then I'm like, I don't know what's going on anymore. I'm sure that that was supposed to be significant in some way, but it just is not making sense to my brain. And I don't know, I like the Ender's Verse books when they have a bit more of a philosophy twist to them, even if they're sci-fi, but I feel like those ones made more sense than this one does. This one just really loses me, and something about it just, I just can't seem to grasp the significance. I can't keep track of everything that we're doing. So I don't know. I think that I am officially done with Dune. So I don't know. I don't know if I'd recommend the Dune series overall. I do feel like you can kind of stop at the first book. I didn't even love the first book, to be honest. So I don't know that Dune is the world for me, but I've finished it now and I can say I've read the first 3. And then I also did finish 2-3 Mini Vietnams. This one is one that I'm struggling with because it's very, I haven't read a lot of books that I could compare it to know how to rate it. Which, speaking of which, I gave Dune like 3 stars. It was fine. There were parts that were good. But this one, I just don't really read any short story collections or essay collections like this. Like, don't know if I can think of a single book that I've read that would be comparable to this. So I'm having a hard time figuring out how to rate it. I think it's like a 3.5, 4. For being like a nonfiction short book, it definitely was interesting and easy to read, easy to get through, but a little bit boring, a little bit slow. But I also feel like where it's a collection of essays, you're not really meant to read it through like how I did. Like, I really sat down the last couple days and read like 50 pages at a time. So I don't know that you're meant to do that. The other interesting thing about it being a collection is that there were definitely some essays in here that I liked more than others, and even like writing styles, certain people's just I liked better, it flowed better. There was a section towards the end where they dove into, there was like 3 or 4 essays about the African-American experience being involved in the Vietnam War and all of the protests that were happening and stuff like that. And there was even like a speech from Martin Luther King Jr. in there about him speaking about the Vietnam War and stuff. So that was a very interesting section. I found that one really easy to read and get through. But yeah, so I don't know. Some of it was better than others. Some of them were really heavy. Some of them were very data heavy. There was one that was very interesting where one of the reporters that was over covering the Vietnam War in Vietnam had interviewed a bunch of people about kind of their perspective, and it was talking about kind of toward the end of the war where lots of the soldiers started to be very disillusioned, and it was very interesting to read all those quotes and stuff. But that's this one. I think it's very interesting if you have some background in the Vietnam War and you want to see kind of some of the critiques. I really feel like a lot of this was being written closer to the time that it was happening, so lots of it I feel like is a little outdated but also very current for what it's talking about, if that makes sense. But like, we've seen the after effects of a lot of these things now that they didn't at that time. So a lot of it is them speculating on how they think it's going to impact the future, but we have already lived that. So that part was very fascinating to see. It definitely is very scathing articles about the US, and so they didn't pull their punches. There were some lines that really had me laughing that I was just like, that is just cracking me up in how, not harsh, but like, so it's like, I don't know what the word is for it, but it's just such a blunt criticism of the US, and it just, some of them just almost surprised me to the point where it kind of made me laugh. But anyways, overall it was an interesting book. If you're looking for something on this topic, I think that there were definitely some very interesting collections. This one would be good to read just like a couple essays here and there, more so than back to back like I read it. And then just of course The Couple Next Door, I did read this one at the beginning. This one was good. I feel like I haven't really thought about it much since I finished it, even in the midst of only having read 2 books since then. So I don't know. I don't know if I'd recommend it if you're looking for a thriller. It did have a few storylines that I haven't seen in other books, so it was all right. But that's my little haul of reading books that I've been avoiding. I feel like lots of times people do these videos and they're like, oh my gosh, I need to quit like leaving books on my shelf for forever because that could be like the best book ever. I feel like lots of people find books that they love in these videos and I didn't. So I think this is really just reconfirmed that I know my book taste pretty well, and if I'm avoiding a book forever, then I should probably just get rid of it, because it's probably because I know deep down that I'm not gonna really love it, and so that's why I'm avoiding it. So I don't know if that's the conclusion that most people get from these videos, but I feel like if there's other books that I've been really avoiding, I don't know that I need to take the time to read them, honestly. But these four books were all just kind of in the middle. Like, they were fine, none of them were terrible, but none of them were great. So that's my experience with this. I do have a handful of other books that I do want to read that I have been putting off. So if you want to see a part 2 for this video, let me know. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one very soon. Bye.